Mansi.
Hi, Nancy.
How are you
Hi.
doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good, thank you.
Thank you.
So, how has been the COVID situation?
Yeah, it's still work from home, so yeah, nowadays it's pretty boring to work from home since the past 1 year. Hoping to see offices open soon.
Okay, okay. Yeah, Mansi, maybe we'll start off quickly with some basic introduction about yourself.
Yeah, sure. So basically, as you know, my name is Mansi Mediratta. So I have done BTech in Computer Science and Engineering, 2015 pass out. Since the past 5.2 years, I've been working into IT industry, completely into backend itself. If you talk about the technology stack and exposure that I have, so I've been from the past 2 years, I've been working onto a Cisco-based product that is related to networking domain. If you talk about the technology stack, so I have been working on to microservice based architecture into Spring Boot. Most of the services are actually there into Spring Boot itself. Few of them are there in Python and Golang as well. Apart from that, for the inter-service communication, we are actually using Kafka. We also have certain REST endpoints exposed in few of the services for the UI to interact with the backend services. Apart from that, on the testing unit testing part, we are using JUnit along with Mockito framework. For the versioning control, we are using Git, and testing and deployment, we are using Docker containers for that. And apart from that, if you talk about database, so we are using MongoDB, NoSQL DB to store all the data related to all our application. And yeah, apart from this, we are using Jenkins, Jira, etc., and working into agile methodology. Yeah, I think.
Pradeep, do you want to start?
Um, yes, Pragna. So, Mansi, I have one program, use case you can try to solve it.
Okay.
You know the anagram, right?
No.
Okay, I'll provide you the, suppose if you see, okay, uh, when you see both the strings, all the letters in the silent are same in the listen. Okay, so this is what we say anagram, and all the characters in the one string is having all the characters in the other string.
Okay.
So I want you to write a program where you can find that this is an anagram. Nothing but all the characters in the one string are present in the other string.
Okay.
Can you please write a program? You can share your
Yeah.
screen and you can do that.
Sure. It is showing me only meeting presenters can actually share the screen.
I just changed it. You can able to know.
Okay, sure. Okay. Can I do a arrays dot sort on both of them and then just simply compare if they are equal?
Can you
Mm.
do it without using built-in functions?
Okay.
Did you understand the problem statement, Mansi?
Yes, I got it.
Okay. Pradeep, you wanted anagram possibilities of this string silent, right?
Yeah, no, I have given her two strings. She need to check whether both the strings are
Both are
anagram.
anagram. Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Okay. So maybe for that we can have. Yeah. So is this fine?
Yes, Mansi. So, suppose you are setting a flag equal to 1 only when there is, suppose there is one character which doesn't have same character in the string 2. So, still the flag equal to 1 will be set, right?
Yeah, so if it is not there, that then it means this is not an anagram. So I'm just setting it to 1 and breaking out of this loop, since this is not an anagram. So it will break out of this loop and it will check and it will go to the else condition and it will print not an anagram.
Suppose in string 1 instead of I there is a Z. Okay.
Okay, you are saying like
So
this.
yes.
Okay.
So first time you came here and you just checked whether S is present in string 2. Yes. Then you set it as a 1. Okay. So next character is Z. So still you'll this time you didn't do anything. You didn't set any flag. But actually it should be flag 0, right? Because the Z is not available in string 2. Then your condition will fail. I mean, even though you have only one character matching, still you are set it as true, but the C is not there in the string 2.
No, no, I
Okay.
have a not operator here. I'm not setting it. If I'm doing actually nothing if it is matching. If it is not matching, then I am setting it as 1 and breaking out of the loop.
Okay, I didn't observe that not. Yeah, yeah. Correct. Okay, that's fine. My
Okay.
Rachna, you have anything on that?
Yeah, no, this code looks good. I think it should be fine. Yeah, Mansi, coming to some understanding on the basics, do you have some knowledge on the maybe multi-threading data structures?
Uh, I actually don't have any exposure working onto multi-threading, but I have a basic idea about it. Data structures I have worked on.
Okay, okay. Do you know when this concurrent modification exception occurs?
Yeah. So basically, whenever there is a collection and you are iterating over it, and at the same time you are trying to modify that collection, so in that case we get concurrent modification exception.
Okay. And how do you think that exception occurs?
Yeah. So basically, like you have a list, and there are two elements as part of that list. That same list you have. So these are actually fail fast type of collections. So you have two elements, you are just iterating over the first one and you are trying to insert. So basically you are actually trying to insert while reading from that is why from the same collection. So we get that in order to in order to not get these kind of exception and solution for that. So if you are using a normal list, it will actually give you that kind of situation. You can instead of that use an copy on copy, I think it's copy on array list. I'm not sure about the exact class that is there. So copy on write array list. So I think into that it actually creates a copy onto which you are actually iterating, and then if you try to modify, it actually modifies onto the original one, and in that case you do not get such exceptions.
Okay, so it copies the entire list onto another list
Yes.
internally.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see what else we have from your resume. Uh, okay, you said there is no much, you've not had much exposure on multi-threading.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't got a chance to work as part of my technical experience, but yeah, I have a basic idea over it.
Okay, do you know when a deadlock occurs?
Yeah, so basically it is a situation, suppose you have some resource that is actually acquired by one thread, and it needs some other resource to perform its operation, and that is acquired. Suppose thread A has a lock over some resource 1 and thread B has a lock over resource 2. So thread A also needs resource 2 to actually perform its task. So in that case, since that is already locked by thread B, then in that case, and thread B also needs resource A. So in that case, there will be a deadlock situation. Both the threads need certain resources that are actually acquired by themselves.
Okay, fair enough. And how do you think you can avoid this?
So we can use better coding practices to avoid this kind of situation, so that we do not lock initially. We just evaluate, okay, these resources will be needed, so that one by one we can do this using the synchronized block. Actually, we can perform the locking in a better way, and we should not actually perform unnecessary, locking. Just when it is required, then only we should actually lock it.
Okay. Yeah, before I move on to Spring or any microservices, Pradeep, do you have any basic questions?
Uh, uh, so yeah, one thing. Can you tell me about the functional interface?
Yeah, so basically these have been actually introduced in Java 8. So as part of functional interfaces, we have now we have like functional interfaces into which we can have one abstract method and multiple static and default methods as part of the functional interface itself.
Okay. So I have two interfaces. Okay, I have one abstract method and two default methods with same name and with same signature.
Okay.
And I have a class which implements both the interfaces. Okay. So it want to implement a default method. Okay. How you can achieve that? I mean, how you can call a particular, like I want to have a default method interface once default method, but there is also a method default method in interface 2. Okay, with same signature and same method name. So how can you solve this issue?
Okay. So I think either we have to actually override that particular default method, or what we can do is we can call it with interface name dot method name.
Are you sure that we can call it through interface name?
Uh,
Is
uh,
there any default methods rules for the interface where they can be solved, or you just add that method? Okay, just call that method and check uh, which interface default method will be called. I mean, there is three rules which are followed for those conflicts. One is override, and then is calling the parent super interface methods. So that is how it is called. I think
okay.
that's fine. Yeah. So, Pragna, you can continue. Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. Um, what do you understand by auto configuration in Spring Boot? And if you have any idea, what are the ways that we can enable auto configuration?
Yeah, so basically there is an annotation at the rate enable auto configuration that you can provide over your application class to enable the auto configuration. In Spring Boot, that comes bundled with the at the rate Spring Boot at the rate Spring Boot application annotation. So auto configuration is basically as soon as you start your application, there are a set of things that are auto configured within your Spring Boot application. So like for example, I will just give you a simple example, like what we do in our REST controllers, we return a simple POJO, and when you see on the this any client like Postman or Swagger or whatever, you see a JSON coming out of it. So this is something as part of auto configuration. We have certain different types of packages included as part of it, so it automatically configures, like I think there is Jackson object mapper that initially comes bundled. So it actually, as part of, we do not need to do anything as part of that itself. As soon as you return some kind of POJO, that Jackson object mapper automatically converts your POJO to JSON, so which is actually seen by the client in JSON format. So there are several other things that are also part of auto configuration. So these actually are used to you do not need to do manual configurations for this. These come bundled as a part of, you just have to include a simple annotation @enable auto configuration, or you can use @spring boot application that already has that particular annotation along with it.
Okay, okay, sounds good. Pradeep?
Okay. Uh, I have one use case here. Suppose you have two databases, and you want to migrate from one database to another. Okay, you have application. You already set up some users for that application. Okay, but you want to use some particular users already there in the new database. Okay, so we don't have anything to match between two users, but we want to migrate the existing database one user to the database two users. Okay, so is there any way you can solve this issue?
So you have okay. So you have created a new database, is it?
Yes. Consider Active Directory.
Yes.
Oh, so whenever any company or any organization, they will have some certain users provided for the any user who joins that organization, and it's a system credentials. But your app has a different credentials. Now you want to move to your Active Directory. I mean, you don't want to log in to your new application with your own previously used user name and password. You want to use the Active Directory credentials. How will you migrate those use cases users?
Okay. No, I actually never tried this part, so I'm not
Okay,
sure how to do this.
okay, sure, no problem. Pragna?
Sorry, I was on mute. There's nothing much from my end, Pradeep. Yeah, if you want to ask few more questions.
No, that's it from my side. Thanks, Mansi.
Do you have
Thanks.
any questions, Mansi?
Yeah, I would just like to ask what kind of a role and project you guys are actually looking for, and the technology stack.
Okay, so before that, may I ask you, like, what is the development role that you are playing in a day-to-day basis today? Are you more into technical front, like coding and stuff like that?
Yes, yes. So I am
Okay.
basically involved with the implementation of different kind of features into Java and Spring Boot itself. And apart from that, I am also involved with the unit testing part as well, using JUnits and Mockito frameworks.
Okay, okay. Good. Yeah, Mansi, that's the role that we are looking for. It's in line with what you're doing in a day-to-day basis now, right? So it's something to do with microservices and Spring Boot and cloud and some even sourcing stuffs. And like Pradeep was asking about the Active Directory. So we're looking for some authorization, SSO, and many more plugins in between.
Okay,
It's mainly a development role.
okay, okay. Sure, thanks.
Anything else, Mansi?
No, I think that's it from mine. Thank you so much, Pradeep and Ragna.